Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name's Jacob and today I've got a little unboxing video for you guys. Now I'm sorry the lighting is a bit bad right now, it's just I had to go to the post office to pick this up because they didn't want to leave it in front of my door because they didn't bother knocking this morning, which is a bit annoying. So it is getting dark now because it only arrived at the post office just now when it's closing. So sorry about that, but hopefully the lamp light isn't too distracting. It could be a handful of things, but it's something from China. It's in one of these sort of little styrofoam boxes that they always cover with yellow tape for whatever reason. I like these as packaging boxes because they rarely arrive damaged, which is a good thing. So we can just slice and dice through this. Just at the top, because I can see that that's where the lid is for whatever's in here. Come on. What have we got? We've got some styrofoam and some bubble wrap. So you can see that there. What's in the bubble wrap? What is... Ah, okay. I know what this is. This is what I was hoping would arrive. I was a little confused because the front of the box where it says like description of whatever's in here, it says beads. And I'm like, what? I didn't order no beads. But yeah, this is the bootleg Mezco Kong Skull Island or whatever he's called. A King Kong figure. Oh man, he's kind of hefty. So wrapped in this plastic. There we go. Look at that. You know what? That's pretty awesome. So just to give you guys some context, a little while ago, Mezco released a pretty popular King Kong figure. Hopefully you can get some better lighting on him. Maybe that'll help. A little bit, but it's a bit much. They released a King Kong figure, which is really popular. They released a couple of versions of it, one which is in this 7-inch scale and one which is a huge scale figure. And these have been really popular. Now, I wasn't overly fond of them because they're not really designed to look like any specific movie Kong. They're designed to be like a generic sort of Kong type figure that, well, not generic, they're actually based off of a graphic novel or something like that. I haven't read it. I am pretty keen to get a look at it, but there have been a couple of bootlegs of these recently showing up online. A little while ago, I did do a review and an unboxing of a bootleg version of this figure, but it was made into like a vinyl figure as opposed to like a Monster Arts like articulated figure like this guy is here. So then later on I found these showing up for fairly affordable prices, a lot less than the genuine thing, on various sites like AliExpress and from China from eBay. So I was like keen, I'm just like, I already have a video about the other bootleg, let's compare this bootleg to that one and see how this turns out. Now unfortunately I don't have the real one to kind of compare him to, but you can already see that this guy's pretty cool. Look at that. So the main difference that I saw in the photos of this one compared to the real one was that this one is sort of painted black and white. They didn't really paint him in browns, so he's like painted with gray dry brushing as opposed to any brown color. So that's the main difference. I don't know why they did that. I guess it's just easier and cheaper. But looking at this guy detail-wise, he looks really nice. Now, it's really dark in my room just because my lighting's shit for doing videos when the natural daylight isn't on. So I'm sorry about that. I will do a full review of this guy really soon, hopefully tomorrow morning, and then get it out to you guys lickety-split. But you guys can just see that there. So he's got some articulation, really cool articulation there. You can kind of move. He's got a bit of ab crunch there. So that's cool. I really like these shoulder joints is something that I just noticed. They're really smooth feeling and they do hold their pose really nicely and you can do quite a lot with them. I like that. Elbow joints are really stiff on this guy. So okay, this one's starting to be alright. If you'll see that there. But they're a little bit stiff, so I would be careful with this guy. Personally, like, if I wasn't doing a video, I would just get a hairdryer and heat him up on all the stiff joints, just to make sure, because this one here, I don't know if I have to work it or not, or if I'm just doing it the wrong angle, but this one I can't get to bend yet. But I'll figure that out by tomorrow when I do that, like, full review. Let's see his legs. His legs seem to have some... Oh, and one of his ball joints fell off, but you can see how he's built there. So he's just got a big ball joint, so nothing broke. He's just fallen off of his ball joint. But there we go. He does have some pretty cool articulation in his legs there. But look at that, he feels really nice. His details look so crisp. This looks like a decently made bootleg. I like it. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Let's see what else he came with, because he did come with some other things. In this little baggie, and we're already losing stuff. Comes with a bone. Again, this bone it just looks like a chicken bone, if I'm going to be entirely honest. It looks like a plastic, real chicken bone. You can see that there. Again, this is just painted in white, so there's no detailing on this. So this figure is going to be really cool for you guys to like to customize your figures. This is awesome. So let me show you guys this. In here, he comes with a baggie of all his other accessories. So you can see they're all painted, or either unpainted, I should say. Which is a bit of a shame, but again, if you think of this thing as a plastic model kit as opposed to like a finished figure, that's not a bad thing. So the first thing it comes with is this skull. It's a little cheesy looking. Even from like the official figure, I noticed that the skull was a bit cheesy looking. Like it doesn't look like a real biological skull. At least like the eye sockets look a little bit too angry. Like real skulls have more just sort of round eye sockets that look a little bit less opinionated, like this thing. So it looks a little cartoony, at least to me. But I guess this is meant to be like a skull like you would have of like other Kong creatures, which I don't know if it really fits. These teeth look a little bit huge even for this Kong here, but still, cool little accessory. Let's see what else he comes with. We'll just pour it all out actually. Oh, he comes with a chain, I can already feel it. We'll put everything else down. Let's bring in this face. This is the thing I was most excited for out of these accessories. He does come with a second face, so a roaring face. Would you look at that? That's pretty neat. Again, I'll spend some time off camera really getting to know this guy, and I'll bring you my full review like as soon as I can after this, because this is pretty exciting. Look at that. That is neat. Neato burrito. Looks like they did a decent job. This doesn't feel like a bootleg. The only thing that's really showing it off to be a bootleg is the paintwork so far, because he is black and white, and that is the way you will be able to tell whether these things are bootlegs online. Like, first of all, whether they're from China, second of all, the price, and third of all, the fact that they're black and white, the bootleg versions, as opposed to the brown colored one, which is a shame, because the paintwork on the real ones, from what I've seen, is actually really decent. But this gives you guys a good idea of what this thing's like. Looks really decent actually, sculpt-wise. I'm not seeing too many issues with this. That's pretty cool. What else have we got? Comes with 3 hands, which is interesting because it is a odd number. Usually when these figures come with separate hands, they have with a bunch of like 2 or 4 hands is usually the standard number. So this one has 3. I'm not sure if that's accurate to the genuine Mezco figure, but he comes with this right hand that's in a punching or like knuckle walking position. So one right hand and a left hand. So a left and a right hand in a knuckle walking position, and then he has a third right hand or another right hand. Yeah, third right hand. And this one is in like a grasping position, whereas his other right hand, which is on him, happens to be in a slightly more open grasping position. So I'm guessing this hand is to hold Anne here. So a little Andero, which she is unpainted. Bear that in mind. Look at that. Just like a little black dot for her mouth, but the rest of her is completely unpainted. Really nicely sculpted, actually. This is a really cool little Anne figure there. I like it. It's going to be actually a lot of fun to custom paint, I think. So for anyone basically who's into your model kits and stuff like that, this could be a really cool thing for you guys to do. But I do like her detailing. You can see the cloth has all these ripples in it. There's nice detailing. She's in a nice dynamic pose. Very nice little Anne. So even for a bootleg that's unpainted, this is pretty sweet. And I'm guessing he holds her like this. There we go. That is neat. I like that. Okay. So we got a little Anne figure in a hand. So that's pretty cool. And last but not least, we have chains. Look at that. So these are actually metal chains. So that's cool because, you know, in the movie, Kong gets chained up, of course. And these actual chain bits are little bits of metal. These are painted like a dark gray color. They're not really painted as a metallic color. And they don't really clip together, but they have a little peg that just loosely holds it there. So, I don't know. I guess there's a bunch of ways you could lock them down if you really wanted to, but they don't seem to have a tight squeeze. So that might be a problem of these falling apart. And the hinge joint has a little bit of metal in it there that makes it swivel, which on this one, I've just noticed it has fallen out. It's just lying down off screen, so I've actually still got it so I can fix it. But it tells me that this thing isn't really made all that well if that can just fall out. So you're gonna have to maybe secure it somehow. So there's the little pin, and that would slide through here like so. Come on, there we go. Okay, so it's slid in, and that would probably really easily fall out. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Maybe glue it in. Just dab a bit of super glue just on both sides, just so it basically just seals it on either side a little bit, and then that should fix it. And then you'd have these cool little chains that you can put on your Kong figure. And I'm guessing we could put these on a bunch of other Kong figures, which is really neat. Neato burrito. So look at that. Ah, that is so cool. I'm glad he comes with this, because that's something that's kind of integral to the film, at least like the original classic one. And, you know, most of the incarnations of Kong, at least. But look at that. That's nice. That is really nice, because with the original version of this figure, I love the sculpt, and the detailing on him looks so good. Like the fur texture, I absolutely adore this fur texture. It is really well done, really well executed. But the original version of him, I couldn't warrant paying that much money for a Kong figure that, to be honest, I wasn't overly a fan of this specific design of him. Like, it's, from all accounts, it was a beautifully made and sculpted figure. It's just that the specific design of him doesn't resemble any movie Kong, and that kind of, it's not really what I'm after when I'm getting a Kong figure. But for the price that this thing was at, and just for the quality that it turns out to be, I say it was really worth it. This thing is really cool, actually, now that I have it in hand. And yeah, you can see all those details. Like, he feels well made. Like I said, the material that he's made of actually feels like he doesn't feel like a Monster Arts. That's something I should note. He feels heftier. A Monster Arts is built more hollow and of like a slightly thinner plastic, but a similar material. This feels a little bit softer, kind of like the same plastic as Monster Arts, because some of their figures are a little softer, but definitely thicker and a little bit more like a NECA figure, because he feels heavy. That's the thing about this guy. He feels heavy. I'm not really seeing any imperfections in the sculpt. Even like, you know, you can see under his feet, there's all that detail there. All his fur seems nice and crisp. It's just the paintwork that's a bit lackluster on this thing. So that's pretty cool. Just because I have the figures on hand, even though I'll do a better job of this in the full review tomorrow, let's compare this guy to his vinyl copy. This is the bootleg vinyl figure of the same Mezco design, the same sculpt and everything. So I'm not sure how and why they made it into a figure like this, but I really enjoyed this bootleg because he was super cheap, and I really liked him for the details that he had, and just the look of him is really cool. But now we have both bootlegs together, so we can really see the difference in the details and the quality of these figures. So scale-wise, they're almost identical. It's funny, actually, the vinyl version is a tad taller than the original articulated version by the looks of it. So that's really curious. I'm wondering if when they made this figure they had like access to the master sculpt that this articulated version then used and cut up to make its articulation function, or if they somehow like reverse engineered this figure to make this one. It's really odd, but regardless, we have both of these figures in hand now, and it's really cool to see them. Detail-wise, it's basically, it speaks for itself. Like, the detailing is all there on this figure. It's just smoothed over all around, whereas this one has really sharp details, and the paintwork is actually pretty similar on both of these figures. In fact, I like the paintwork a little more on the vinyl, just because He actually does have that brown texturing and actually has some nice coloring to him, which you can't see in this lighting, unfortunately. But again, tomorrow I'll do a better comparison. Another Kong figure we can compare him to is the Kong Skull Island figure from Playmates Toys. So this is from the movie Kong Skull Island that came out in 2017. I will be doing a couple of reviews of this figure in the coming weeks. So you'll get to see more of this guy in some more videos, but here you can just get a brief little taste of him and see how he scales up with this Mezco Kong bootleg. And I actually wonder if this thing is in scale with the original version of him, because that one's meant to be like 7 inches tall, and if Jacob could find his ruler, this guy is just under 7 inches tall as well, but who knows, because occasionally when they do make bootlegs of these figures, they do shrink them a little bit and stuff like that, so that's something to bear in mind. And finally, we could compare this guy real quickly to a Playmates 2005 Peter Jackson's King Kong figure, just so you guys have a little bit of a complete picture of what he's like with all the little 6-7 inch Kong figures that I have in my collection. So that's really neat. I like that. I really wish I had the Monster Arts Kong to compare this guy to, but unfortunately this is the closest figure I now have to a Monster Arts Kong. But oh well. This is, yeah, really neat. Like, he cost at least half of what the original figure goes for these days, so I think that's really cool. Those people in China and the bootlegs, am I right? They're just going all out with these things, and really happy about it. I'm not gonna lie, this is really cool. So yeah, that's about it for this little unboxing. Again, I'm so sorry about the lighting in this video. I mean, I wish the postman had just knocked on the door this morning so I could have actually gotten this parcel instead of just leaving a little note saying, oh, you have to pick it up from the... Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what this guy looks like in the daylight tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And if that is something that you're wanting to see, please like and subscribe, because it really helps me and the channel out. I would super appreciate that. And I'll definitely have more reviews of figures like this in the future. So yeah, do be sure to do that. But till then, may all your vinyl be radiated vinyl. Over and out.